Welcome, our dear viewers, to Diaspora TV Switzerland. My name is Promise Graf, coming to you with the news, and let's first take a look at the headlines. The new law that requires proof of language certificates from government-accredited institutions before a resident permit could be issued or renewed takes an effect as from January 2020. The first round of Swiss votation will kick off on the 9th of February, with focus on low-cost housing and discrimination based on sexual orientation. Human rights activists want Swiss government to stop refugee deaths in the Mediterranean Sea. Kids Technology Day is coming up in Cloten, Switzerland. The Nigerian ambassador to Switzerland cleared the air in regards to NIDA Swiss crisis and engagement of the embassy. A new law introduced in 2019 made a certain level of integration a condition for obtaining and retaining a Swiss permit. It also introduced language requirements for certain B permit applicants, notably family members of non-EU nationals. But since 1st of January 2020, Permit C applicants and dependents of non-EU nationals applying for B permit are required to obtain certified language certificates from a government-accredited institution to prove that they have sufficient language skills to communicate with ease in at least one of the Swiss national languages. Who do the new regulations affect? The provisions on integration apply in essence to all foreign nationals, but some categories are excepted from the language requirements. There is no language requirement for unmarried children under 18 years of age, for spouses and unmarried children up to 18 years of age of Swiss citizens. Those who may benefit from the provisions of the Agreement on the Free Movement of Persons and their family members. The spouses and unmarried children up to the age of 21. Those with disabilities, illnesses, or other important personal circumstances that enable them to meet or have difficulty in meeting the language integration criteria. The difference in 2020 is that throughout 2019, applicants were able to produce certificates from non-accredited language schools, but since the start of the new year 2020, the regulation has tightened. Diaspora TV Switzerland recommended anyone willing to take up language courses to visit ACAP website www.acap.ch. Two referendums will be held on 9th February, with voters asked whether they approve of a popular initiative to increase affordable housing by promoting housing cooperatives and whether legislation preventing discrimination based on sexual orientation should be overturned. The Affordable Housing Initiative shall require 10% of new flats to be owned by housing cooperatives and abolish government subsidies for renovating luxury flats. In December 2018, the Swiss Parliament made homophobia a criminal offense by extending the scope of the criminal code to include sexual orientation. The code currently bans hate speeches or discrimination against a person or a group of persons on the basis of their racial, ethnic, or religious affiliations. If voters refuse to support the overturn initiative, then discrimination based on sexual orientation is considered a crime in Switzerland. The vote on the anti-homophobia legislation was forced by the Federal Democratic Union and the youth wing of the Swiss People's Party. An opinion poll conducted in December 2019 showed support for the affordable housing at 66%, with 30% against, while overturning the anti-discrimination legislation had the support of only 28% of voters, with 69% against. Campaign groups have handed a petition to the Swiss authorities signed by thousands of citizens calling for urgent measures to stop refugee deaths in the Mediterranean Sea. The petition, which had been signed by 24,425 people, was handed over to the Swiss Federal Chancellery. It is backed by dozens of Swiss campaign groups such as Solidarité Sans Frontières and the migrationscharta.ch network. It calls on the Federal Council Executive Body and the Parliament to adopt measures to ensure migrants attempting to cross the Mediterranean by boat can be saved and properly looked after if they get into difficulty. The Geneva-based International Organization for Migration, IOM, reported that 110,669 migrants and refugees had entered Europe by sea during the year 2019 through 3 Mediterranean sea routes, of which 1,283 deaths were recorded and at least 19,164 migrants' deaths since 2014. No one cares more about your child's well-being and success than you do. In today's digitally fueled times, we all want to guide and protect our kids while giving them the opportunity to tap into the potential that the world of digital technology brings.
On February 8, 2020, at the Schluffweg Conference Center in Kloten, we are presenting cutting-edge technology and have invited a robotics team to present their work.
The event will be attended by world top technology experts and Kids Technology Award-winning team from Romania. The participants will have first-hand knowledge about how their kids can be successful in the digital world, how parents can help their kids manage video game addiction and cyberbullying. Help your children identify cyber dangers to manage the use of technology and which websites will be of positive use to them. Above all, your kids can start developing their own business mindset via networking and talking to experts on ground such as Raw 2D2 Robotics Team, Mel Science Kids, and Tech Spark Academy. The Nigerian Diaspora organization NIDA Swiss is the umbrella organization of all Nigerian associations in Switzerland. Since several years, the management has been plundered into crisis that stalled the activities of NIDA Swiss organization. Despite setting up a caretaker committee to produce a new management, the process seems to be back to square one due to division among the members in Switzerland. His Excellency Ambassador Madugu Baba, the Nigerian ambassador to Switzerland, cleared the air in regards to what some concerned Nigerians term as the negligence of the embassy in NIDA Swiss affairs.
In 2019, NIDA had decided to organize the independence anniversary in Geneva, and all the staff of the mission were there, except myself, I was indisposed, I couldn't make it. So, and even the one they had in Geneva, we participated even financially. Now, the problem started when we made all efforts to, have one united NIDA, but all our effort was fruitless. So there was a plan to hold election, a general assembly for the election of NIDA officials, which was abruptly cancelled by NIDA itself. And so there was a breakaway faction that had its own election and elected Johnson Odibo, and their president was his other executive members. And then the other side of NIDA also later, I think around 22nd December, they had their own election and elected Mr. Ami. So both sides invited us, and we felt we should not be part of, division within NIDA. So we didn't attend any of the elections. Hence, probably the accusation we are withdrawing for NIDA. We are not, NIDA is part of us, and we'll continue to cooperate, partner with a united NIDA whenever we have one in place.
A petition was submitted to the embassy by an organization called Nigerian Youth Movement against Mrs. Kemi Amuda, The 2 pages later listed several points. Let's have a quick look at some of the details as stated in the petition. Since her arrival last year in Bern, the Nigerian embassy in Bern has become a shadow of itself. Immediately upon her arrival, Ms. Kemi Amuda never hides her primitive intentions to bring divisions in Switzerland. However, before we knew it, the Nigerian embassy in Bern, for the first time in its history, officially announced that there is no more collaboration, cooperation, or any form of partnership with the Nigerian community in Switzerland. Since then, Mrs. Amuda has virtually constituted herself into a lord, dictatorial and unapologetically disrespectful. The embassy has since then been working against the interests of the community, the report stated. Diaspora TV spoke with some Nigerians to tell us about what they think of the Nigerian embassy in Bern and their responses to the said petition against Mrs. Kemi Amuda, and if they have any knowledge of the Nigerian youth movement Switzerland.
Speaking as the coordinator of the Yoruba diaspora group, Odua Progressive Union Switzerland, we've really had a very, very supportive and an amazing relationship with the Nigerian embassy as a whole, and particularly the ambassador, Ambassador Baba Magudu, the Honorable Head of Chancery, Mrs. Kemi Amuda, has always also been very, very helpful. She has been very, very supportive, especially during our summit. She represented the Nigerian embassy and the ambassador.
I mean, in terms of the demands of the Nigerian community here in Switzerland, it is a unanimous agreement that they are doing well, and we have said this, a lot of people have said this in several meetings that we had in the past. So this is coming out now with no specific charges, reasonable charges, has brought big surprise to the community. Not only me, but to the entire community.
I think I've never had any issue with Nigerian embassy. Mrs. Kemi Amuda has been a woman of impeccable character. I first encountered her when I approached the embassy for invitation during our Igbo Union and Diaspora's inauguration. I am the president of the Igbo Union, Diaspora in Basel, Switzerland. So I didn't find any element of arrogance in her the time I approached her. She was peaceful and respectful.
I saw the petition, and it was something that really shocked me. I find it quite sad to see such kind of thing, because it is I don't see it as something honest. It is not true, and it's really sad that our people here in Switzerland will go to this extent.
Actually, I don't know the details about the Nigerian youth movement, but I read the petition they wrote. I find it I find it as a piece of rhetorics. You know, there's no element of truth in the person I know, and that kept me perplexed. You know, when I read through it.
Honestly speaking, the Nigerian youth movement, if I'm correct, Nigerian youth movement, it was the first time I saw it. I heard about the name Nigerian Youth Movement. I never knew there is also an affiliate of a Nigerian diaspora group called the Nigerian Youth Movement. If I had known, I would have loved to join, because I regard myself, even though I'm the head of the Yoruba group here in Switzerland, I still regard myself as a youth, and I would love to be part and parcel of such kind of organizations. And yeah, I was quite surprised to see that there is a group called the Nigerian Youth Movement in Switzerland.
I am not aware. I'm not aware. I just read it for the first time, you know, and that's the first time I read about it. and I don't know if they are a corporate organization, a corporate registered organization, or maybe they are acting out of annoyance or probably hired by somebody to do what they did.
Exactly the day I got that petition, a copy of the petition, is when I heard about this organization, and further trying to investigate to see who or what is this organization and from where and who are the people behind it. Till this point, I don't have any information. And for example, the person that signed the petition, we have asked all that we know, including the ethnic groups in Switzerland. But till now, nobody has information for us.
His Excellency explained further the position of the Nigerian embassy in Bern.
Yeah, we have received the letter, and we raised some issues because we made some background checks. We cannot find that name. We don't have the address of the Nigerian US movement in Switzerland, and there is no telephone number that we can even talk to the person for further explanation. With regards to the officer in question, it is only the Minister of Foreign Affairs that has power to post, cross-post, and withdraw any staff. The ambassador has gotten that power to do that.
Thank you for staying tuned to Diaspora TV Switzerland. I am Promise Graf. See you next time.